You're listening to City of Muses on Paris Underground Radio. Welcome back to City of Muses on Paris Underground Radio. I'm your host, Jennifer Garrity. I'm a screenwriter, filmmaker, and the creator and founder of the Paris Underground Radio podcast network. Each week, I sit down with an artist or creative to talk about what inspires them, what their creative process is like, and how Paris plays into it all. My guest this week is fashion designer Ricardo Bernardino. I'm speaking to Ricardo mere weeks before his debut at Paris Fashion Week, where he will unveil his new Sea to Silk collection. This bright and bold luxury collection features the artwork of Michel Deville, who was himself inspired by the coral reefs of the Indian Ocean. Michel has been painting for 70 years, but has refused to sell any of his paintings because he considers them all as his children. So, how did one chance jogging encounter transform Michel's never-before-sold art into a collection by first-time designer Ricardo? Just keep listening. Hello, Ricardo. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Hi, Jennifer. Thanks for inviting me to your podcast. So it's really a pleasure to be here with you.
I'm very excited to talk to you about your new collection. But before we do that, can you tell our audience a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Yes. So my name is Ricardo Bernardino. I'm originally from Portugal, but I moved to Switzerland when I was 7. So really, I spent most of my life in Switzerland. And yes, I am really passionate about design and colorful clothes. And I decided to start exploring this passion 5 years ago. And this is where all this journey of creating the brand and immersing myself in sewing lessons, etc., really started. So yeah, otherwise about myself, I'm living in Geneva. I have 2 kids. And yeah, that's it.
So I'm really excited to talk to you because you are just launching your first fashion collection, as I understand it. Is that right?
Exactly.
So is fashion something that you have always been interested in?
Yes, basically since very young, as far as I remember, around 10 or 12 years old, I was really passionate about fashion. I remember cutting my clothes and crafting some stuff and taking the shirts of my father and trying to modify some stuff. And yeah, the passion was really there since very young. Then, I didn't take that path in terms of studies, etc. So I take another direction, but fashion has always been inside myself. And that's why a few years ago, I said, no, I really have to explore that passion. And really, I said, no, I have to start from the basics. So I start from sewing lessons, doing my own creations at home. I remember the first ones were with my mother's sewing machine, but I had a lot of fun. So I said, no, okay, let's continue. And then I was creating my own models at home. And I said, okay, I have now to create something out of it. And then I said, okay, let's mix a bit the things I love, which are with the colors, art. I'm as well as someone positive person and solar person. So I try to mix all that and create a brand that really like a cocktail where all that is inside. And we can see in the models through really the colors, the art, and main objective as well of my collections is to transmit positivity, joy, and freedom through these models. So I think we need a bit of that at the moment.
I agree with you.
Yeah, this is how it started. And the passion, to answer to your question, since very young, the passion has always been there.
I love that. I was going to ask you if there were things that you made when you were young. I love the idea of you trying to transform your father's clothing into something new.
Yeah, I remember I was doing some crazy stuff. I remember some shirts that I cut, on the bottom of my shirts, I cut
a fringe.
Yeah, French. And, I went to school with that. And I was mixing like shirts with jogging, with boots. I was trying to make my own mix. And I really enjoyed that. people sometimes they were looking at me, like, what's that look? But I really enjoy and never been afraid to be, out of the standard. It was like a way as well, fashion to transmit my personality, how I am. So yeah, since very young, it was always there. And even recently, then was working more on commercial side and business, and even in some meetings, some session, I just go there with some colorful shirts. So it was like, wow. But yeah, I mean, it's really part of me. Yeah.
What was the first piece when you started doing these sewing lessons and all of that? What was the first piece that you made where you were like, oh, actually, maybe I could do this?
Yeah. So the first one was some pants. And then I did some pajama for my kids. So I really said, wow, I had a lot of fun creating that, choosing the fabrics, etc. So I did some pajamas for them, some pants. Then they were asking me more. So I did some skirts for my daughter. And then I did some shirts. So it all started slowly. I started with the pants, which I think the easy one. And I had the chance, by the way, to find a good teacher because I was looking for teachers here in Geneva. And by chance, I found one guy that was twice best designer of Switzerland.
Oh.
Yeah, and he was just living close by. And then I contacted him and I started with him. So it was really good, amazing to have, to be able to get from his experience. So yeah, it was a good, I would say a good start. And I was lucky enough to get that good person as well to start.
Yeah, it sounds like a perfect blend of self-experimentation and also some mentoring.
Exactly. And he was really, it was not the standard course of sewing. He was basically had no limits. Any idea I was telling him, he was just, hey, let's go, let's try. So I really enjoy, and he's the kind of guy as well. He loved to experiment things. Yeah, we really enjoy, at least I really enjoyed these sessions with him.
And this collection that you're working on now, the Sea to Silk, is that right?
Sea to Silk, exactly.
So this is a collaboration with a painter named Michel Deville, right?
Exactly.
I read about how you met, but can you tell us the story of how the two of you met?
Yeah, it's crazy. So after my sewing lessons, I really had in my mind to create a brand, develop that collection in the colorful universe mixed with art, etc. And one day I went out for jogging. So in Nyon is close to Geneva here by the lake. So I was just running and I passed by chance in front of that gallery. And the paintings, the window was just amazing. And I just stopped my jogging. I was looking at the paintings. And, then there is always this moment you say, do I open the door or not? And many times it happened in my life in the past saying, no, I will pass another day or I will do it another time. And I don't know why that day I said no. I think I have to open the door now and let's ask about who painted these artworks, etc. So I opened the door and I asked the person there who painted these, and he told me, yeah, it's me. And I asked him, I really see some beautiful shirts with your paintings. And I remember I didn't even introduce myself at the beginning. I was like, and then we start chatting about the paintings and how I see the collection. And I was surprised as well by the artist looking at me and say, yes, let's go as long as we have fun. As long as we have fun, let's go. And I was like, wow. And then, it all started from there. So Michel Deville basically is going to have 80 years this year.
Wow.
And then I start learning his story. And what is crazy as well in this collab is that Michel Deville has been painting all his life, but he decided never to sell any of his paintings. He considered them as their child, as their own child. So he said, no, I cannot sell one of my paintings. And even when I asked him, which one do you prefer? He said, no, it's like my child. So I cannot prefer one or another. And I said, no, it's really amazing because that collection is going to be really like a revelation of a life work of that painter. So it all started from there. And then he invited me to his house. So I said, okay, let's see the other paintings that you have. and I will see maybe which ones I see some collection we can do something with. So I went to his house, and then again, it was crazy because he had paintings like everywhere, in the toilet, under the bed, and everyone was like, I was like, wow, it's like, and I was like looking at the paintings and just imagining the collection on my head. And yes, it all started from there. I started first samples. I showed them to Michel. He really liked them. So I prepared the full collection. By the way, we did a book, a bit of the story of Michel, of myself, that we will offer with the shirts. Yeah, I would say more than just shirts. It's like the story behind that is really interesting. And when people are going to wear these shirts, just for them to feel that it's much more than simple garment, there is a full story behind. So I think destiny played really a role on this on this encounter with Michel. So yeah, this is how we met.
That's incredible. And it does sound like it must be some kind of destiny for someone who's never wanted to sell their work to immediately say, yeah, let's do it. That seems crazy to me.
I was really surprised, because when you get into a gallery, there is like an atmosphere a bit,
Yes.
And when you met the artist, I opened the door, the artist was there immediately. And I was really surprised that he accepted right away. But he told me the condition is to have fun. So I said, okay, let's have fun together. I bring him to the shootings, I bring in all the team. So he really enjoyed being part of the team to see all this energy around the shootings. Dinner we had with all the team, the models and the cameraman. And he was really happy as well to see his original designs breathing into a new life.
I'm going to put some photos up on our social media, but for people who are listening now, can you describe some of Michel's designs?
Yeah. So when I met Michel, I discovered as well his universe. He's a painter, but he's as well doing diving sessions for almost 50 years in Indonesia Ocean. And basically, he started showing me videos of the undersea universe and his inspiration for his paintings. And, when I see this universe, the corals, so some fishes that I couldn't even imagine. There is one animal I discovered, it's called nudibranch. It's an animal that the colors are just stunning and each one is different. So for people that are listening, go check the nudibranch, and it's really part of the inspiration that he put on his paintings. So it's really very colorful. There is some forms. His painting as well, dots, so inspired of the Aboriginal technique. When he was doing the diving sessions in Indonesia, basically traveled to Australia, and he really was like captivated by the technique. And he started mixing, his universe with this technique of dots that he's been an adept. So that's a bit how the paintings are, with all little dots, very colorful, and forms, where you can imagine behind a bit this enchanting underwater universe.
I was actually going to ask about that because I saw this amazing exhibit at the Quai Branly here in Paris not that long ago about Aboriginal art with that little dot technique. And I noticed that in the paintings, and I was wondering if there was a correlation or if it was just a coincidence.
Yeah, it's during his trip. And by the way, again, it was a chance for him because, I don't know, he had to renew his passport and he couldn't get into Filipina. So that's why he had to go 3 weeks in Australia just to renew the passport or something like that. So again, it was a chance. He go there, start going into art galleries, and he discovered really this technique. So this is a bit how he discovered the technique, and he get the depth as well on his paintings.
Are you a book lover who's always looking for the next best book? Or an avid reader who'd love the chance to ask their favorite author a question? Well, then you might like my other podcast, Storytime in Paris, where I interview writers with a French connection, with questions that come from you, the author's fans and followers. Then, the authors treat us to a reading from their books. Listen now to Storytime in Paris on parisundergroundradio.com or wherever you listen to podcasts. We'll be right back with City of Muses after a word from our sponsors. And now, back to City of Muses on Paris Underground Radio. And these colors are bold and bright. They're almost neon, and there's a mixture of patterns. This is not clothing for the shy.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, you don't have to be shy to wear this collection. It's really a collection for people, who want to enjoy life to the full when you go on holiday, or you love colors. And yeah, people that are more shy, it's not really for them. Or if they really, on holiday, they are just, relaxed place and they don't want to, just for themselves, to feel good. But yeah, you don't go unnoticed with these shirts.
Had you been actively thinking about making a collection before you stepped into that gallery?
Yes, so I was really thinking to start doing the collection. I was already working on some personal designs. And then when I passed into the gallery of Michel, I said, okay, no, let's start with this first collab. And for me, I think it's really like in the heart of the brand. I want to develop really doing collabs with artists and as well some personal designs. But yeah, I have already some personal designs I would like to make a collection with. But I would say I'm doing my collections. I'm not following really the fashion calendar. So every season or every 6 months, it's more, even if I do once a year collection, it's fine. I really want to create for really to enjoy and for my pleasure. And for sure at the end, I hope to sell the collection. But I don't want to create with the pressure of every season. I have to develop some new stuff. So it's more depending on my inspiration, on my encounters. When I feel, okay, there is really something here, let's go for a collection. So I will do one.
That makes sense, especially with a collaboration. It's hard to force that and put a deadline on it. It's going to stifle the process, I would imagine.
Exactly.
How long did it take from the concept to the final product?
It's been quite a long journey. It took almost 2 years because basically when I met Michel, I was doing my own creations at home. And then I said, if I go for a collection with this artwork, I can do the samples myself, but I want to work with the best artisans, the best atelier to have really a top luxury collection. I prefer to do small collections, but very luxury and good quality products than, big quantities and have big stocks. So it's really capsule collections. And then it took 2 years because I had to find the right partners. I wanted to work with the best partners, the best ateliers and artisans in Europe. And I want to work really with people I can go there, control the quality, control. I don't want to work outside Europe. And I really wanted to have a team close by that I can visit. So first I went to Lyon and then to Como, which has the two cities historically really well known for silk expertise. So I went there and I find really, really, really talented artisans. So we started developing the first samples. And when I saw the quality of the silk and the quality of the colors, I said, wow, that's what I want. But before finding the right one, it took quite a while. It took quite a while. That's why it took like 2 years from the time I opened the door of Michel's gallery until I find all the right partners to make really the collection. I really wanted to make a collection of the levels of the paintings of Michel. So really a top product, top quality product. So majority of the time was to find the right partners. Once we find the right partners, then it was okay. It went quite fast, even if there is always some issues, developing the samples, the sizing, fitting, etc. So we had some go and returns on the sampling. But yes, it took 2 years, so quite a while. And that's why I'm really happy now, after 2 years. It's like when you get a baby and now the baby is just coming and is just going to show it to the world on the Fashion Week. So I'm really happy. Yeah, it's like the result of two years of work.
It's amazing. And how involved has Michel been in the process along the way?
So Michel was more like a consulting, I was showing him along the process. He was part, so at the beginning to show me his paintings. Then I was doing the selection. And then I was doing the sampling, the shirt models, and he was like always there as consulting. Just I wanted to make sure he's approving the collection, what I'm doing. So it was more like consulting or guiding, because he has a lot of expertise as well in business, in colors, in paintings, about the quality of colors. When I get the first samples from the atelier, I remember it was crazy because he told me, this blue, this is not the exact same blue as my paintings, because this blue, I can find it only in Indonesia. And, it's very hard to find. And then we were adjusting the colors. He's passionate about colors. So if the colors were not okay, he was there to say, no, this blue is not as the painting. So we were a bit adjusting together. So he was there all along the way as a consulting, and I wanted to make sure that he's approving as well the models that I was doing.
Yeah, that's nice, this mutual respect then to honor the art and honor the fashion back and forth along the way.
Yeah, he's a guy that is really not at all in fashion, but when he saw the shirts, he was like, wow. And then he saw the shirts around him, people as well, art passionate, etc. And they all really enjoy. And more I was showing him the models as well, more it was really, wow, okay, let's see the collection, and curious about to see the final result. So no, it's good. And Michel will be there as well in Paris. I've managed to convince him to be there for the show and for the apéro. So no, it's really good.
Amazing. So the collection itself, I read that there's 50 pieces each of each piece. That can't be the right way to say that. How many, and it's all shirts. How many pieces are there in the collection?
So there is, I would say, this collection, there is like 10 different shirts. There is 3 different, because at the beginning I did only shirts. And then I said, no, if I want to do the runway, I want to have some full look. So I did some shorts as well. And I didn't want to have a runway too boring just with shirts and shorts. So I put some other pieces special for the runway, but that I can sell as well, are like silk pajamas, very long, with pants and the coat. They are really beautiful because as they are really big, you see really all the colors and artwork. So I'm really happy to add these pieces to the collection. So there is like 2 pajamas, 3 pants, 3 shorts, and 10 shirts. So it's quite a small collection, but I mean, every single piece, as I said, I want only the best. So I didn't put pieces to say, oh, okay, this one can be okay. I just put the ones I said, no, these ones, I really, really like it. So yeah, small collection, but I hope people will like them as well.
I imagine that all of that in silk moving on the runway will be particularly beautiful too. And actually a bit underwater-y.
Yeah, because there is all these movements. So I'm really looking forward I'll try to visualize in my head, how the show can look like and what can be the best. And yeah, I'm really excited to see. So there is a mix, of a bit stress and excitation, because stress, I go a bit out of my comfort zone. I like to be on my atelier doing my sewing, relax, and I'm not used to go to the fashion week, to be in front of people, etc. So, and prepare all the show. So that will be a challenge, but at the same time, I'm really happy to do that and excited.
I was going to ask you about that because as we're speaking now, we're about 2 weeks away from your Paris Fashion Week debut. But when this airs, it will be after the show. So I was going to ask how you're feeling in the lead up. This is your first one. So how are you holding up?
Yeah, first one. So, I think until the last day, there will be something to do, because every day there is some things to fix. And I was finalizing the packaging. So the box, really, I received it last week. The books of the collection, I'm going to receive it this week. So, it's really the pajamas, I'm going to receive them next week.
Oh no.
So because the pajamas, there were some issue on the fitting. So I had to doing some changes. So Pajamas will arrive last week. So until the end, there will, there will be some change and stuff to do. But I'm really happy because I will have my family with me there. I will have my friends. So they are following me as well since very, very young. We grow up together and I have some good friends that will be there that are helping me. And they are bringing me their energy. These guys, my friends and my family, the logo of my brand is a sun, and basically they are my sun. They are the ones giving me the energy and make me move forward. Say no, I really have to go to the end, bring it to the show, and really show this product. So this is a bit how I am at the moment. So a lot of things to do, a lot of things to prepare.
I don't mean to remind you of your stress. Sorry.
but I'm thinking already after the show, we planned a nice cocktail.
Good.
Jennifer, by the way, you are invited. I hope to see you there. I really look forward to this moment. After the show, can enjoy the cocktail, relax,
Fabulous. Well, I'm really looking forward to it. I do plan on being there. For our listeners, how can they get in touch with you? How can they keep up to date with what you're doing? How can they get a hold of this collection?
Yeah, so they can follow me on Instagram, Ricardo Bernardino brand. I try to post as well. There is some people helping me. I try to post as much as I can to share some news about the brand. And otherwise on my website. So I would say website and Instagram, it's really the way to see any news of the brand.
Perfect. Well, I will include links to both of those places so that people can get to you really easily.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ricardo. This was such a lovely conversation. Thank you so much.
Thanks to you. I really appreciate it. And see you in Paris.
Yes. See you soon.
See you soon. Exactly.
Thank you for listening to City of Muses. If you've liked what you heard, please take a moment to rate and review it. This is the fastest and easiest way to help support the podcast. Tell a friend who could use a little inspiration. You can also subscribe to the Paris Underground Radio newsletter over on our website, parisundergroundradio.com, which comes out every Sunday and gives a little peek into what's on the network for the week ahead. I'm your host, Jennifer Garrity. You can find me on all socials at Jennyphoria. That's JennyPhoria. Thank you for listening, and may you find inspiration wherever you go. City of Muses was produced by Jennifer Garrity for Paris Underground Radio.